Sound check. It helps if you unmute the mic. Outstanding. Thank you, H2, and welcome, Sotone. We're going to give a couple more minutes. Here we have Logan. So we have, and now we have Lee the Goat. All right, so H2, Sotone, Logan, Lee the Goat. All right, so we have 4 people on the stream. We might have more watching. That's fine. We are going to get started here in just 1 minute. I hope everybody has their thinking caps on. Some of these questions are difficult. Some of them are not as difficult. Remember, the prize is your requested video or review. It can be on a natural script. It can be on a constructed script. It can be on your script. Whoever wins the trivia. Man in Space. Thank goodness you're here. All right. Well, H2, I'm actually going to be enjoying a beer here in a couple minutes myself. I almost called this round alcohol and alphabets, but I didn't know that I didn't think that would go over quite well with the entire audience. So, Man in Space, I am glad that you were able to make it. I do know that you were concerned that some real life things would get in the way, but I'm glad that you were indeed able to make it. All right, so it's 9 o'clock by my watch. So we are going to go ahead and begin. I have 5 participants. If you don't answer, it's not a big deal. If you do answer and you get it wrong, you don't get a point. If you answer and you get it right, obviously you get a point. The first 10 questions are 1 point each. The 2 bonus questions are 3 points each. The individual with the most points, in fact, wins and gets to request any video they'd like. All right, so here we go. We're going to get started. Question number 1 is coming up in just a moment. All right. This superhero has had no fewer than 5 different neographies associated with his species. Again, this superhero has had no fewer than 5 different neographies associated with his species. I'm counting 1 minute. I got Lee the Goat with D. I got Logan with Superman. I got D from Man in Space. All right, so let's see what the answer is. I've got 3 answers provided so far. Okay, I got D, H2. Okay, everybody's answering D. Let's see what the answer is. And the answer is indeed Superman. I would have accepted Kal-El. I would have accepted Clark Kent. And as you can see, there's several different ones here. The 2 notable ones are at the bottom. The one on the left on the bottom is from David and Jesse. The one in the middle bottom is for the language that Christine Schreier made for Superman. But she did not, in fact, make the script. She hired a graphic designer to make the script. The others are, as you can tell, straight out of the comic books. Would I have accepted Henry Cavill, Man in Space? Possibly. But everyone got a point on that round or that question. So great job, everyone. We are tied across 5 participants. So there's a 5-way tie. I don't disagree. Man in Space. I would say that the Gallic Vulcan doesn't necessarily always have the crossbar, though. There is a little bit of variation there. I'm not a huge fan of the Schreier related script. Um, None of these scripts are amazing. Probably, though, the best one, if you were to ask me, would be the Peterson script. All right. So, question number two. Question number two is coming up. All right, here's question number two. This script's origin, sorry for the erroneous apostrophe there, is debated, but the two primary origin theories both suggest derivation from logographies, or more accurately, one logography and one possible logosyllabic script. Your choices are Pahlavi, Brahmi, Katakana, and Hebrew. Lee the Goat says Brahmi. B from H2. Man in Space says C. Katakana. Okay. And we got Brahmi from Logan. Any other answers? I think we have one other participant. We'll wait 1 second here. You don't know what A is, so B. Okay. So Satone comes in, and it is in fact Brahmi. So the Brahmi script is potentially ultimately from Egyptian hieroglyphs, a logosyllabic alphabet or a logography. But the other one would be the Indus Valley script. The hypothesis goes that the Indus Valley script devolved or evolved into Brahmi. And you could see there the origin of the Indian alphabet as it was labeled. And they sort of tried to make these conflated sort of relations to some of the symbols there, some of which sort of hold, some of which don't. But there was an attempt to relate the Brahmi script to the Indus Valley logosyllabary. And again, the Indus Valley logosyllabary has not been fully deciphered as far as I know. So it's a stretch no matter how you look at it. So everybody gets a point other than Man in Space. No big deal. This is a game. So we're learning. It's a trivia game. We're going to go to question number 3. All right, question number 3. This script has 19 base symbols, but has been adapted by numerous unrelated languages and can include as many as 53 letters. Your options are Hanzi, Hangul, Arabic, and Ogham. 19 base symbols, but can have as many as 53 letters. All right, so we're getting some different answers here. Logan says Arabic. H2 says Ogham. Lee the Goat and Man in Space agree with Logan. Sotone going to answer? Or, oh, Sotone says, oh yeah, Arabic. Okay. Because dots. And H2, you are, in fact, wrong. So everybody except H2 is going to get a point on that. The answer is, in fact, Arabic. And I just provided just one sort of example of how it's been adapted there. The ta has been used by Persian, Urdu, Shahmuki, Sindhi, modern Arabic, right? It's been adapted. The ijam or nakut is what the dots are called. I forget who said dots. But yeah, H2, you got that one incorrect. Everybody else has got that correct. Okay. But yeah, the 19 base symbols are there's more than 19 here, but I did a whole presentation on them before. Yes, man in space, ijam, and they can also be called nakut, not nikud or nakud, but nakut, nakut. Yeah, that's how it's said. All right. Moving on to question number 4. All right. This puzzle adventure game has 5 distinct logographic systems that must be deciphered to progress through the game. Chance of Sinar, Hogwarts Legacy, Strange Brigade, and Mist. Those are the options. Again, this puzzle adventure game has 5 distinct logographic systems that must be deciphered to progress through the game. Man in Space says A. Lee the Goat says A. H2 is following suit with A. And Logan says he's not sure. And Satone says he's not sure. So we've got our 5 responses. So we're going to go ahead and move to the answer. Oh, Logan, you said you're not certain. It is, in fact, Chance of Sinar. And these are just a couple of samples. So Satone is the only one who doesn't get a point there. All right. Yes, Man in Space, you are correct. Mist was denied copyright registration. That has been a topic I have seen discussed numerous times. I'm not sure how you could copyright something in a script because it can be copied and done without your knowledge. Copyright tends to have like marketable things, and nobody's going to market a teenager's diary that he or she writes and missed characters with, or the deny. I always like to say deny just to mess with people. We're moving on to the next question. Question number 5. All right. So, question number 5. This artificial language contains 384 lexigrams used by primates in ongoing studies of cognition. 384 lexigrams used by primates. Okay. Kanzish, Chantek, Koko, or Yerkish? Kanzish, Chantek, Koko, or Yerkish? There is 1 minute on the clock, gentlemen. We got A, we got D with a question mark. Lee the Goat says A. H2 says D with a question mark, not sure. Man in Space says D. Sotone says C. Does Logan have an answer? Logan says Kanzish. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move to the answer since we got a bunch of guesses and a bunch of I don't knows. So the answer is Yerkish. Okay. The answer is D. Man in Space is the only one to get a point there. Actually, no, H2 does get a point, even though H2 was guessing. So lexicograms were notably used by the Georgia State University Language Research Center to communicate with bonobos and chimpanzees. Researchers and primates were able to communicate using lexigram boards made in up to 3 panels with a total of 384 keys. This is just one sample. This is obviously not 384 lexicograms there. What I found interesting when I was looking through this is if you look at it, some of them are meant to be pictographic in a sense, and some of them are strictly geometric shapes and designs. So they're basically just associating an idea with a shape, completely abstract, completely non-related to the actual idea, right? And then if you look carefully, you'll see that in some cases They actually just used a word. For example, right there in the middle, they have burrito, right? Down in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the word fear. So like it's it runs the gambit from actually using words that you or I would recognize to using completely abstract geometric designs. So yes, man in space, that's about a third of the inventory. There are websites that have the entirety of it. So I would recommend anybody look that up. Okay, so that's it for the multiple choice. We're moving on to the Jeopardy-like answers. All right, so question 6 is going to be coming up just a moment. Question number 6. This logographic collating system was first introduced in 1615, but is named for and more often associated with a dictionary printed in 1716. That is correct, H2. Questions 6 through 10 and the bonus questions are open questions. That is correct. I'll read it one more time, folks. This logographic collating system was first introduced in 1615, but is named for and more often associated with a dictionary printed in 1716. So I have an answer from H2, which is Kanshi. Lee the Goat is asking the question, is this the stroke-based dictionary order of Hanzi? So the question is the question, Lee the Goat. Man in Space says Chunom. Is Satone going to provide us with an answer? Satone may have checked out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move to the answer. I've only gotten 3 answers from H2, Logan, and Man in Space. So the answer is the Kanshi radical collating system. Okay. Originally introduced in the Zhihui Dictionary of 1615, they are more commonly referred to in relation to the 1716 Kanshi Dictionary, Kanshi being the commissioning emperor's era name. Okay. Well, have a good night, Satone. Thank you for playing, and I'm glad you had a good time. So we just have H2, Logan, and Men in Space with the points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Yes, Logan, this is definitely a place where the use of obscure linguistic literature will come in handy. All right, so we're going to move on to question 7. Man in Space, collating, yes. It just means alphabetizing or sorting by script graphemes. Parts. Question number 7. These signs and graffiti persisted from the 1870s until after the Great Depression, but no unifying compendium has ever been established. I'm going to read it one more time. These signs and graffiti persisted from the 1870s until after the Great Depression, but no unifying compendium has ever been established. So we got Lee the Goat coming out with American homeless signs. H2 says hobo signs. Man in Space says hobo symbols. And Logan says hobo signs. Well, that was all very, very rapid with those answers. So you guys are pretty confident, and I like that. Lee the Goat, I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not going to give you homeless. I'm not going to give that to you. I just can't do it. I was looking for hobo signs because that is what they are referred to in an academic sense. That is how they are referred to in all the linguistic literature that I was able to find. Um, the thing I found interesting is while there are documents of these, there are pictures of these, there are drawings of these and how they appeared. At no point in time has there ever been like a full-fledged dictionary because they had variations by region. They also had variation by race. Um, White hobos and African American hobos used different symbols, obviously. So it is quite a unusual system. The thing about it is, you could leave the Northeast and end up in the Southwest and see signs that were similar, but they might mean something slightly different. So, yeah. So everybody except Lee is going to get a point there. All right. So the tally right now after question 7, Lee, you have 4 points. Everyone else who's still participating has 6 points. So Tone left the game with 3 points. So technically, Lee, you are not in last place because Satone will have 3 points for the duration of this particular round of trivia. All right, so we're going to move on to question number 8. I feel like that one was a little too easy for you guys, even though I researched it for about an hour. Question number 8. This conlang and neography are from a 2015 Bollywood movie and has established an ongoing fan base. If all of you get this right, then I know you're cheating. I'll read it one more time. This conlang and neography are from a 2015 Bollywood movie and has established an ongoing fan base. H2 believes he knows this one, but does not remember. Lee the Goat has no idea. I'm giving it till my clock says 21 after. It was for PK. I don't know what PK stands for. Logan doesn't remember. H2 also does not remember. Okay. All right. So I got 21 after on my clock. So we're going to go ahead and go to the answer. So this will be a no points awarded question. And the answer is Kaliki or Kilikili. As you can see here, these are some examples of the script as well as the conlang. It's a pretty sort of basic yes, Logan. ARG is the movie, I believe, name of the movie. So, I don't know who worked on it, Man in Space. They have an asterisk in there. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I think when I went to the page to get the samples, I read maybe the first 4 paragraphs, but it was quite a lengthy page. I just wanted to get something obscure because you freaking wizards seem to know all these answers. But this is going to be no points awarded. Nobody answered it in time. Logan got there, but just after time had elapsed. Okay. So that was question number 8, I believe. So we're going to move on to question number 9. Number 9 and 10 are the only regular questions we have left, and then we'll move on to the bonus questions. All right. Question number 9. This cipher from a world-famous sci-fi franchise was used on pizza marketing materials. This cipher from a world-famous sci-fi franchise was used on pizza marketing materials. Lee the Goat, I will answer that question when we get to the answer slide here. Okay. H2 says GBS or Orabesh. Man in Space says, what is Arabesh? Lee the Goat. Saycom. Lee has no idea. And Logan says CCOM. Well, gentlemen, every single answer that you just gave is incorrect. Because the answer is Hutties. It was used on Pizza Hut marketing material. What you see on the left there, no, that is not Arabesh. This is a different script. It does have some similar kind of glyphs in it, but this is a different script. What you see on the left there is actually the bottom of a pizza box. That's why the image is so crappy looking. Somebody took that picture of the bottom of their pizza box, and it's been online for a while now. I think this was around the time that the prequels came out, is when this came to be, or this was used. But yeah, horizontal lines are included to show character position relative to Hutties. From my understanding, there was no Hutties script until the prequels were being planned and developed. So I'm going to go back to Lee's question. Why do I do this with a video rather than a slideshow? There's two reasons. It's much easier to operate this because it's just one button. It's pause and play, same button. Number two, if I were to do it in the slideshow, it would either have to be full screen or I'd have to readjust everything. Or if I just had the slides up, you would be able to see the answer slides, or you'd be able to see the next slide in the far left. And some of you folks are smart enough to zoom in on the screen and figure out what the heck the answer is. I'm just trying to keep it fair, trying to keep it easy, trying to keep it simple, trying not to overwhelm anybody or give away the answers. If you know of a better way to do it, I am 100% open to that. You can actually turn that off. You know what? You're right. Now that you say that, yeah. And there is presentation mode. I don't know. I'll tell you what. How about this? How about I'll try the slide presentation next time. I'll try it next time. We'll do a trial run for trivia round 4. And we'll see how that goes. If it works better, then awesome. It works better. All right, no problem. Just going in order OG images in a folder. Lee, do you not like me? Are you trying to torture me? Are you want me to work harder, not smarter? uh, uh, no worries, no worries. I've gotten so used to taking the PowerPoints and turning them into videos that it just sort of came naturally, right? Put the questions up, then put the answers up, and then just turn it into a video because I can pause and play when I want. I can add music if I want to. I mean, you can do that in a presentation too, but this seems easier to me. But again, I might be overthinking it or not thinking it through clearly. I don't know. I really like, but we're gonna try it just because of Lee. Next time we're doing a presentation mode. So if you guys don't like it, blame Lee. We're gonna move on to question number 10. Question number 10. This conlang, actually a Gremlot, was used across 2 different animated series, the second of which had a neography. This conlang, actually a Gremlot, was used across 2 animated series, the second of which had a Neography. And just as a point of reference, I kind of sort of agree with Logan a little bit. Clicking to the next slide is kind of easier than maybe it should be. Whereas with this, it's timed and it's very, like I said, there's one control. All right. Do I have any answers here before I hit to the answer portion? This conlang, actually a Gramalot. 2 animated series. Mignonese, I get from H2. Lee says he's got nothing. Man in Space, Logan. Logan's got nothing. You got nothing. Okay. Well, then I know that I'm doing good. Oh, H2 comes in with Penguinese. It's too bad you already answered. It's too bad you already answered H2. No, it is actually Penguinese. Nearly all dialogue is in an invented Gramalot, Penguin language, referred to as Penguinese or Pinguish, consisting of babbling, muttering, and the titular character's characteristic sporadic honking sound, which can be popularly recognized as newt newt. So there's the Neography. I guess it did appear on screen a few times. Yeah, I agree with you, H2. The newt newt is not actually language. I get it. I do agree with you. However, this is Neography trivia, not language trivia. But I don't know how frequently this actually appeared on screen. I wasn't able to find any other samples of it. Admittedly, I didn't take a lot of time looking. What is the K? That has to be a typo, right? Unless somebody was using Xampa. So no points awarded again. So we are still at 6 points across the board, except for Lee, who is still at 4. But don't worry, Lee. If you get one of the bonus questions that no one else gets, you jump ahead. And on that note, we are going to go ahead and move on to the bonus questions. Pencils ready? Here we go. Bonus question number 1. Which video game conlang does have an accompanying Neography, though it is rarely used and is considered nonsense? When was this conlang developed? To get all 3 points, you must answer both portions of this question. Which video game conlang does have an accompanying Neography, though it is rarely used and it is considered nonsense? And when was this conlang developed? I'm counting 2 minutes from 31 after. So at 33 after, I'm moving forward with or without answers. And good luck using Google to figure this one out, because I didn't really give you much clues. Okay. H2 is saying Simlish from 2000. Lee the Goat is saying Simlish from 2008. Man in Space is saying, what is Simlish in the 90s? I'm going to need a specific year, Man in Space. I can't give you credit for 90s. I'm wondering if Logan's going to have an answer. Man in Space gives me 1999. So I've got 99, 2000, and 2008. All right. So Logan's given us an answer. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. So the answer is Simlish. Congrats for everybody getting that correct. But the year is actually 1996. And if you knew Simlish, all you had to do was go look at Google or Wikipedia rather, because Wikipedia does have that year on there. But yeah, 1996, and when you look at the script, you can tell it's nonsense. I mean, it looks like you won't look at Wiki. Okay. And Lee the Goat, I completely agree with that phrasing. It is the least cohesive thing ever. It is just complete nonsense. All right. So, unfortunately, I can't award any points for the bonus question because nobody got the year. H2. The best script ever made. Sure, everybody has their opinions. So we're going to move on to bonus question number 2. Man in Space, I agree with that assessment as well. Bonus question number 2. This micronation, founded in 1979, has its own developed conlang, but no neography to speak of. Also named the creator of the language. This micronation, founded in 1979, has its own developed conlang, but no neography to speak of. Also named the creator of the language. I have 34 minutes after the hour. I will give until 36 minutes after the hour for answers. Melosia John Conlang. Lee the Goat. Logan comes in with Tolosa Robert Madison. The micronation. H2. And Man in Space says Sealand, Prince Richard, or Sealand. So I've been given all four participants have given answers, so I'm going to move forward. And it's now 36 after. And the answer is Tolosa Robert Ben Madison. Oh, Man in Space, you are technically a knight, and I did not realize I was in the presence of nobility. Pardon me, sire. So, based on my count, we get Logan and H2. Logan and H2 are going to get 3 more points, which basically means they are tied for the win at 9 apiece. Man in Space, you are at 6 points, and Lee is holding down the fort at 4 points. I've never even heard of Melosia or John Conlang. I think you were throwing something out there, which is fine. It's fine. But that's not the answer to the question. So I think last round the very nicely done. A little numeral pun there, Man in Space. Very nicely done. I think last time the scores were a little lower. I don't know if that was the makeup of the participants or if it was just the questions or whatever. But I think 9 points for the 2 winners is pretty high. But I do think that the questions were still difficult because it took you guys a little bit to get to those points there. I mean, 9 points out of 16 possible, right? So there was 5 points left on the table, even by the winners. All right. So H2 and Logan, you both get to select at least one video for a script, be it natural, be it constructed, or perhaps even a script adjacent topic that you would like to see covered on the channel. Um, please either let me know now. We could talk about it and see like where your head is as far as like what you're looking for in that presentation. Um, or we can you can send me an email or in the Discord or whatever. Um, well, H2, that is very generous of you, but that's not the way this works. Man in Space did not win. Besides, he's already got 2 scripts in the queue. Okay, he's coming here just pouncing and destroying people with his knowledge base. Tonight he was a little off his game, um, but he's already got 2 scripts in the queue. That's correct, Logan. Rights non-transferable. That is correct. You either pick or you don't get to pick. Oh, you're so generous, H2. So H2 doesn't know what to pick, and the person he wants to help him pick doesn't know what to pick. Okay. Is there a uh, H2? Is there a topic that you're interested in seeing discussed? Something at least somewhat related to neography? I have actually already covered RENZO. Lee the Goat. That video is up on my channel right now. Logan says he knows what to pick. He's got to get more materials first. Are you going to submit the materials to me, or are you? I'm not sure what materials you'd be using, but okay. Lee the Goat, are you talking about having reached out to RENZO? That is my experience as well. He is on the web, but not really active. Oh, you shall send me the materials, Logan. Okay. Uh, just so you understand, and this is not to be picky or whatever, just because it gets sent doesn't mean it gets used. I will look at it though, and if it's something that I think is good for the review, then I will definitely use it. The only reason I say that is because there have been people who have sent me some stuff that is just not usable. It's not the kind of stuff I want to put up on my channel, either because of quality or subject matter or whatever. But if you send it to me, I will definitely look at it 100%. H2 says, you can make one, but first you will need to put it on a PC so it's a bit more nice. Yes, that is good. All right, so well, that's part of the process, Lee. When you say you change things often enough that if someone made a video, you might regret it because it would be outdated. I've already looked at some of my first videos from last year because I've been putting out videos now for over a year, and I've considered redoing the Tingwar video that I made, which was the first video I published on this channel, because you know, maybe my perspective's changed, maybe my method of creating the video has changed. But you shouldn't regret it. I mean, changing things and adapting things and improving things, it's part of the process. Um, even for professionals. Um, which scripts did I cover? I pretty much covered Halbesh, and I briefly covered his Sun script. The finding enough materials for the Sun script was difficult. Well, allow me to encourage you, Man in Space, to move forward with your video, your planned video. Um, the more conlang material there is out there that is done by experienced folks, the better. That's for sure. Okay, so Logan's going to send me the stuff. Logan, are you sending it to me on Discord or through Gmail? H2 is downloading Inkspace as of right now. Okay, that's good. Inkscape. I'll have to see if I have your email or not. Discord. Well, Logan, so this channel has its own email. You can send it to that one if you want. It's literally just all one word, neography A to Z at gmail.com. Right. So if you send it there, I'll get it. Same if you were to send it to my personal email. So just there you go. That's easy. H2 says it won't be a great script, but it's something. Well, just wait till you guys see my book, because I'm going to include some images from the first iterations of my longest surviving script. And you will either laugh, cry, or roll your eyes. I promise you, because it's pretty bad. And it was I should specify or clarify, it was the first digital version of the script. It looked amazing in my notebooks. But at the time, back in 2000, I did not know how to cleanly put it online. Now you guys are speaking in Polish, and I don't know how to speak Polish. And it's scary. The diacritics, they frighten me. They worry me. But yeah, so not to change the subject too much, but as I just mentioned in my book, it will be done soon-ish. And it will include an entire sort of like section on how I created my longest surviving script. And I plan on also including an alphabet being done by a very talented and well-known person who is doing this alphabet just for me, to be in. Well, thank you for the offer, H2. If you buy a physical copy, will I sign it? Man in Space, if you're willing to purchase a physical copy of my book, I would be more than happy to sign it for you. And I will sign it with my own signature, and then I will sign it in my main script, which will be in the book. So you'll have two signatures, one English, one not English. So the idea, though, is to show people how to make a script, and essentially it's going to boil down to, I'm going to show folks how to make an alphabet, an abugida, and a logosyllabary. I'm not going to delve into the abjads. I'll discuss them. But abjads are so very niche and typically don't work, across lots of different types of languages, as you guys are aware. But definitely alphabets, abagitas, or alpha syllabaries, whatever you want to call it, and then logographies, excuse me. So yeah, um, can I work with your vertical script? So H2, just so you understand, if it's in an image, I can make it work. Okay. Have a good night, Man of Space. I'm glad you were able to join. And we will be back on the 10th of April. I'm not sure what time of day it'll be, but we will be back on the 10th of April for round 4. All right. So, Logan, I'll wait for your email. H2, again, if you want to send an email, you're more than welcome to once you have your stuff together. Um, Neography A to Z at gmail.com, all one word, no spaces, no underscores. Um, Again, great job, Logan. Great job, H2, on pulling ahead with that bonus question there. Um, I hope everybody enjoyed trivia. Again, the next round of trivia will be on April 10th. I'm trying to hold true to doing trivia on the 10th and the 20th of every month, barring any unforeseen situations. We will do it on the 10th of April, but there will not be a 20th of April. Unfortunately, I will be very busy doing some stuff away from my keyboard. So the 20th of April, there will be no trivia, but we will come back on May the 10th, possibly. Unfortunately, guys, I travel for work sometimes. So uh, long story short, if I'm on travel, I don't really have all my gear to do trivia. But maybe depending on the situation, I can push it a day ahead or a day behind or whatever. But as of right now, we will be back on April 10th for the next round of trivia. I hope you guys had a good time. I know I did. I hope you learned a little bit of something. I know I do when I do the research for these questions. So enjoy the rest of your night and keep scripting, everyone.